Yo, welcome to the system. Just adjust the stupid focus here. And, yeah, I'm playing God of War right now, but I'm about to shoot this video in a vlog style, kind of just a thought style thing I'm doing for my psychology class. So, yeah, let's see how this turns out. Never done a video like this before, or at least with this subject matter, so roll the intro. I don't know what that was. It's vlog. Roll the intro. Okay. Roll the intro. So, let's just do the welcome to just thought, and let's just start this off by saying it's bound to be said that once a adolescent or teen moves out, they enter the quote-unquote real world. Now, I disagree with this somewhat because, well, I've gone through enough stuff in my life to, frankly, not be considered a child, but that's pushing it. So I would just say that I've gone through enough in my life to see that that's not true, in the sense that the real world is shown through these things that we go through growing up and just getting older in general, becoming more serious as you get older, obviously, until eventually the real world is revealed to you when you become an adult and you move out and things like that. But before then, I would say that the real world is shown to you in pieces. Not fully though, yet. And actually, I just want to check what my mom got for groceries, because she got groceries. I would say that, like, in Marvel, I mean, like, with She-Hulk, represent, God, kill me, Jen isn't shown the real world until she steps in that role of hero and confronts that. Before then, she isn't really in this world, she isn't really in the fully real world. Reality of, the Marvel Universe and everything, but yeah. And same with Peter's journey in Spider-Man No Way Home. Peter isn't shown the real world until he has to make everyone forget him and restart and become that hero, become Spider-Man. But yeah, I'm just gonna check what I got for groceries because I wanna. I'll talk about Marvel and psychology, becoming an adult and stuff in a minute. I think through line of this journey of becoming an adult, adolescence to adulthood is, I don't know if this is in frame right. Man. Family. Or people, just in general people. In Avengers, Tony Stark didn't think he needed a family. He thought he could do it all on his own. But in Avengers, he realized he needed people. He needed people to support him through saving the world, but becoming an adult isn't saving the world. It's saving yourself from being stuck as you were, not growing, being stagnant. And it directly relates to structuralism kind of thing. It's like without the love of people, of parents or found family, however you want to look at it, just a support system, I guess you could generalize. A stream like that. Anyway, without a support system, there's no teachings of life, there's no lessons learned, there's no growth as a human being. It's generally and societally understood that the love of parents or just guardians include the teachings of life, include that function, and include making you into a good human being, a functional human being, an adult. So, yeah, that relates to Avengers. That's the first movie there, but it's simply a step. It's probably the most important step, meeting people. But it's one of the through lines, though. But it's there. But it's just part one. It's just the first movie. It's not the sequel. So, talk about the sequel in a second. This clip is just getting a little long, so I'm gonna cut it here and I'll re-record. But anyway, you're back. Another through line, I think, for becoming an adult is self-advocacy. Standing up for yourself when no one would, when no one will, when maybe no one ever has. It's the movies that come to mind for me. The character is, oh my god, is Jesus, is Tom's Spider-Man. Now, granted, he's not the best Spider-Man. I think he's one of the best, and I think Tom's Peter shows the ideals of standing up for yourself pretty damn well. So basically what I'm trying to say is that part of adolescence to adulthood in that journey is standing up to the adults in your life, saying, here I am, here is me, I know who I am now, and not fitting into that mold that they've created of you in their head. That can be parents, teachers, whoever, right? Bosses, whoever. But part of this journey is, standing up to those adults and just presenting yourself. And if they don't like that version of you, if they don't like you, pretty much, then you stand your ground. You plant yourself like a tree, as Peggy Carter said in Civil War. You plant yourself like a tree, and you say, no, you move. I disagree. Or here's my point. Here's my opinion. You can't, shut me down anymore. And, giving respect to those adults who deserve it. And not giving respect to those adults who don't deserve it. Because some adults will deserve it and some won't. And that's just the reality. And I think the good adults will let that push and pull of generational difference happen, I think. And differences in respect and respects. And differences in opinion. I think the good adults will let those differences, occur. And occur often. So, yeah, I think Spider-Man shows that really well with Tony and Aunt May and Happy and just, all the adults in his life. It's a very relatable story. I'm gonna get some water because I'm gonna be talking a lot about my second unit and aspects from my class. So I'll be right back. Now, this final step of as part of the first unit out of 2 that I used for this assignment from my psychology class is finding love, or finding a partner. Now, this partner doesn't have to be romantic. It doesn't have to be a boyfriend or a girlfriend. It just has to be a best friend or a brother or sister, just think of it as a dynamic duo. It can be more than one person, just kind of a found family, like a home that you can find yourself in outside of where you grew up. And of course you can grow up with this person, but where you originally grew up. Like for example with me, I have a stable friend group of we're all very close, and you know, I didn't find them until a few months ago, so I didn't fully grow up with them, right? But we're still growing. So I'm not gonna get into that conversation. That's not related to this. Anyway, sorry. With Doctor Strange, Stephen has Christine. Christine is the voice of reason. That's also something you can find in this partner of yours. It can be a voice of reason. They can reveal pieces of the real world to you in the aspects of they can give second opinions on things that your parents or your siblings don't understand, or their adults or people in your life don't understand. They can just be that understanding and that voice of reason for you. Just your partner, when it comes down to it, just your other half, pretty much is what you need to find in order to you can't be an adult, you can't succeed in life by yourself. Like, I can't stress that enough within this conversation. You can't succeed in life without other people. You just can't. And if that's one person or it's five, you know, you just at least need one. And that's kind of where I'm getting at with this point that I'm trying to make. So yeah, that relates to Doctor Strange, and that's the end of Unit 1. And yeah, hope you guys got some water or snack. And with Unit 2, the first thing that was talked about by me was standards. And, you know, practically there's financial standards, and all we do is save. You know, save as much as we can. That's a standard just generally set by society, by everyone on Earth. Just save as much as you can while you can, basically. And in life, just in general, it's kind of just you know, let people, I guess other adults in your life teach you your own standards. But when you have your own standards and when you are old enough to stand up for those standards, stand for them, just like stand up for them, live for them, honor them, and you know, don't stick too close to other people's standards. Rather stick close to yours, but sometimes, occasionally, even let other standards, other people's standards influence yours, but only by a little bit, so that they don't corrupt yours. That's kind of the extent that you gotta let it flow through. And with Marvel, you know, with Cap in Winter Soldier, you know, he stuck too close to the government's standards for his entire life, most of his life. And then when Shield, when everyone realized Shield was taken over by Hydra, he just got his own standards, and was free from the government standards of him. And with life, you have to let that freedom overtake you as it overtook Cap as well. Usually overtook isn't said in a good way, but this time it is. You gotta stand for those standards, and just don't let others influence them too much and corrupt them. Because if you don't listen to anyone, then you'll fail. And that's another way you'll fail, is that you'll just rely on yourself, and eventually, I mean, like, it's just impossible to just do anything without others, because if, like, you try to do it by yourself, you can't, no one would have taught you anything, and, like, someone would have had to teach you, like, something in order for you to live, in order for you to function as an adult, for you to have those standards. Like, it's just impossible. So, you have to have standards. Now, as I was talking about earlier, standing up for yourself. Now, as I was saying earlier, it's one of the most important parts of this process of becoming an adult. Here I am Iron Man, or for me, I dress femininely and masculinely, and I like both masculine and feminine gender expression. Sometimes my family doesn't accept this, and it's hard, I'll tell you, and I won't elaborate. It's difficult, but you stand up for yourself, family or not, and to any adult in your life, to every adult in your life. And you say, here I am, and just, you wait and see, and if something comes up, you stand for it. And that's just the reality. And Erickson's, theory on this was the developmental, let's say so, right? Yeah. Developmental theory. And part of that theory was the identity versus role confusion stage. Now, this stage of life happens 13 to 18. And so, for example, I've already gone through it. I already know who I am. Pretty much. I mean, how does anybody fully know who they are? I mean, come on. Come on now. But anyway, identity versus role confusion is when you find out your identity, when you begin to have a voice. 13 to 18 is when you start to form your own opinions on things, on various topics, politics, whatever. And then that's when the parents' mold starts to shift. That's when their mold of you, that, let's face it, is a mold of them, starts to shift, because you are breaking that mold. You are reaching higher than those standards, than those expectations, than those molds that up until this point were formed around you, you're trapped in your little shell. Now you're breaking that shell, and now you're wearing a movie. Where the hell? And now you're wearing the suit, and now you're Iron Man. And now you have to figure that out for yourself, of course, not alone, as I said, but still you have to figure it out yourself, while avoiding things like social media and proving people wrong. But most importantly, become an adult and like leaving home and everything, you have to stay true to yourself, and that means standing up for yourself. And I think that's probably one of, if not the most important thing to get at here. So with that being said, Excelsior, and yeah, man, this has been just a thought, and this has been Michael Creates, and bye bye.